Hello, 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 all the King's men. Welcome to another Friday assessment. Yes, I am celebrating with you because you have made it to another Friday. You made it across another week. And remember, that's enough to celebrate. Remember, you got to celebrate because that is a milestone. Remember, you got to celebrate the small wins. Why? Because it keeps you motivated. It keeps you going in the direction that you need to go. So I celebrate you today. I celebrate you for joining in with all the King's men once again. Yes, it's time to assess. Why? Because I want you to be better. Why? Because you need to be better. Why? Your family needs you to be better. Why? The world needs you. The world needs you, all the King's men. So what do I want you to look at today? I need you. Look, you got to remember in the assessment, it's all about you being better, being a better you, being the best you. That is what is so important about doing the assessment. We really have to think about it and say, you know what? If I'm not transparent with nobody else, I need to be transparent with myself. Why? Because you can never become who God has called you to be, who God designed, who God destined you to be if you're not real with yourself. So what do I need you to do this week? I need you to ask yourself, what name am I answering to? What name am I responding to? Yes. You know why? Because the area that you're not having success in, you could be responding to something that's not you, to something that you're not called to, or something that say, you know what? I've passed this place, but I'm responding to the wrong thing. That's why I cannot get over this, because I'm receiving the wrong thing that looks like the right thing. So why am I saying that? Because when we look at the Bible, we often see when God gave men purpose, he often changed their name. We know that Abram became Abraham. We know that Saul became Paul. And we know Moses. Moses' name had purpose when he came out. And when you go to study the books of the Bible, each one of these writers, their name had purpose. It had a meaning. So who did God create you? When I think about that, I think about how you grow up with a nickname. Most people grow up with a nickname. And what happened? Usually things that you do, things that happen in your young life, or when you're out there running in the world, it's usually tied to that name. Oh my, yes, it's tied to that name. So that's why I'm telling you, what are you answering to? When you give your life to Jesus Christ, when you turn that leaf over in your life, you know how it says you turn the leaf over, you turn the leaf. What that means? That means that you got to leave the past behind, because the past can be causing you not to reach the areas that you're trying to reach, not to reach the goals, not to reach where you're trying to go. Why? Because you're answering to yesterday. You're not answering to your future. Your future is calling you, but you're responding to yesterday. Why? Because you don't recognize it. You're responding to the familiar. Yes, I think about it, I was studying the other day. I was preparing to minister the other day, and I thought about it, things that we even do in our adult lives, especially when cooking. You'd be like, why you do that? Because mama did it, because grandma did it, because great grandma did it. It's a family tradition. But do you realize what you're doing has no purpose? You know why? Because they did certain things because they didn't have accesses, because it wasn't available. But do you realize that you could be doing things that's causing you to fail because you haven't assessed? There are things that we do that we don't even know why we're doing. We're just doing it because somebody else did it. And you don't even realize that's the root cause of your failure. You're not doing what God told you to do. You're doing what somebody else told you to do. You're doing something that you saw somebody else do. You got to do what God told you to do. Why? Because God is coming. He always comes to defy logic. He always comes to defy what man says. You know how man even thought God came to condemn. He came to destroy. He said, no, I came to fulfill the law. Look, everybody wants to take a shortcut or do things that they think is right. But when it comes to doing it God's way, yeah, it looked like it takes longer. But what I love about doing it with God's way, God like to deal with the root of a thing. And that's why we got to do the assessment, because when you're not achieving success in a certain area, you got to get to the root of a thing. And is the root of your thing because you're responding to the wrong thing? You're answering to the wrong thing? Look, if you know that you done turned, if you know that you're not that old person, why are you still answering to that name that they gave you in the streets? Why are you answering to that nickname? You tell them, look, you need to call me by this or I'm not going to respond. When I don't respond, you're going to know the reason that I'm responding. And watch what happens. Because you took control of your life, you're now going to experience success in that area. Yes, I want you to achieve success. I want you to experience success. Why? Because the best you needs to come forward. All the King's men, I thank you for joining in this week. I pray that you are blessed because you're not responding to that old you. You're not responding to somebody else. You're not responding to what they called you in the past. You are now going to respond to your future. So all the King's men, I thank you for joining in. I pray that you would perform the assessment on your life this week. Why? Because God got greater in store for you, but he's waiting on you to respond. All the King's men, be blessed. Have a blessed day, have a blessed weekend, and a blessed week to come. Till next time, be blessed.